Hey guys, welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to run you through how we can use the MAXIFS function or the MINIFS function to find out the maximum value in the given range based on a single criteria or the multiple criteria. And same things we'll see for the MINIFS. Now, there is a difference between the MINIF and the MINIFS, and similarly with the MAXIF and MAXIFS. And there's another reason where I'm only using the MAXIFS and not the MAXIF or the MINIF function. Now, if you see the MAXIF function, or the let's say any function which is ending with the if character, it will support only one criteria. It will not support the multiple criteria. Whereas if s or any function ending with if s would support one or multiple criteria. So it makes more sense for anyone to use a max if s or any other function ending with if s instead of just if, because in future if you need to get or add in another criteria, it would be just a change or just adding something to that formula. However, if you're using the function ending with if, you would have to rewrite that formula and do if s and then whatever the multiple criteria you're working on. So just a heads up on what is exactly if, or any function ending with if or any function ending with if s differentiates with each other. Okay, so on the max fs formula, which and the min fs formula, which I'm going to run you through. So we have got a same data set as we've been using for the maximum and the minimum. And this time we are going to use the cell J2 as our first criteria to find out the value. So let's get on with the formulas. Now, what we are finding out is we are trying to find out the costliest item, or in other words, costliest pencil in our data range, right? So our data is starts from the row 2 till 44. So whatever column we are working with, we would be using 2 till 44. And we would be using the criteria, which is the first criteria, which is the item D, or the column D is having that. So let's get started and we can see how these formulas would work like. So again, we type in the equal sign to let Excel know that we are working or typing it in formula. Now, what's a maximum range, or what's a range from where we want to get the maximum value? Now let's start from F2 as I was talking till F44, because our data starts from the row number 2 till row number 44. Then if you see the next one where it says criteria, and the criteria resides in D, we have to type in D2 till D44 where the criteria is. Now, what's the criteria? What you want to match? Now, the value which we want to match is J2. So we just select J2, or else we can type in text in the double apostrophe. I mean, like this, we can just do pencil. We can hit enter, we'll get the value, or else we can remove this pencil and we can just type in J2. It's one or the same thing to get the values, right? Now from the max unit, just for a practice, same formula, we type in max if s. The range which we want to find out would be E, because units are mentioned in column E. So it could be E2 till E44. Again, the criteria range would be D2 till D44. Our criteria resides in J2, we select that and we get the maximum unit. Now again, both these items are coming where the criteria is pencil. So if we come in our data and we see, we do filter and we just select the pencil here, then if we see the maximum unit is always at the bottom, which is 95. So we have maximum is 95 units available, and the costliest pencil is 4.99. Now we're getting the same things. So let's try and do with the minimum. So we do min if s. Again, the same thing. We type in F2 till F44. Our criteria is in D2 till D44. I'm sorry, just a typo, D44. and the criteria resides in column J2. We select that and we hit enter. Now, if you see again, we are getting the cheapest. And if you remember, cheapest was 1.92. Same thing, just for the practice again, we type in MINIFS. Minimum criteria would be E2 colon E44. Our criteria resides in D2 till D44, and then it resides in J2, the criteria, and close the parenthesis. Now we get the maximum unit. Now to check this, we can even, I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling too much. So we can just do a filter here. We select pencil and units. Minimum is 7, cheapest is 1.29, maximum is 1.49. If we close this, we see it's the right version. Now, this is how it works, right? But let's add one other criteria. Now we can add in the region as well. Now the region would be East, Central, or something like that. So we can have our I as the region, and we can type in East in here, right? What's in East? How many pencils we have in the East? So let's again just look at how the formula will change. Now, if we remove this curly braces, right? Now it says criteria 1. The moment you hit another comma, it starts looking for what's a criteria 2. Now criteria 2 resides in B2 till B44, and the criteria for second criteria is in I2. We select that, we hit enter. The costliest item is here because in East we'll have 4.99. Now the maximum unit, again, we come back here, we close this parenthesis, I mean we remove these curly braces, another, we type in second criteria range, the criteria resides here, close this, it's still the same. Now let's say we change our criteria, let's make it West. Now see, suddenly the values changes because in West the costliest pencil would be 2.99. Now to check that, we can do a filter here. Now the first we have D, where we say we are only working with pencil. Now the second thing is we are only working with West as a criteria. Now if you see, we have only 2, where 2.99 is the expensive, and we have only 56 units as the maximum units, and we're getting it. Now if we type in Central, if we see, the value changes again, right? And we come back to East, the value changes again. So what it's doing is we are working with two multiple criteria. The criteria 1, which is item number, item name. Criteria 2 is the region, where in which region we are working on. And the same thing works in MINIF and MINIFS. Come here, B2 till B44, which is the criteria range 2. And criteria 2 resides in I2. Close this, we get the value. Same thing, we mention the criteria 2 range. I2 is the criteria 2. We hit enter, we get the details. And again, if we change, see, everything is changing, right? I mean, the values changes. Now, with this formula, there is a rule which we have to follow. The rule is, if we see this criteria range, and if we see this particular formula, we have this criteria range, which is says F2 till F44 and D2 till D44. Now, the rule is the criteria range, or the maximum range which we are selecting from where we want the output, have to match the criteria range, or the criteria have to match the maximum or the minimum range. Now, just for an example, let's say this B, if I remove, I am, what I'm doing is I'm selecting the whole B as a column. And I hit enter, see, it's not returning me any value. So the point is, it's the range we are working with is row number 2 till row 44. We have to match this particular range, whichever column we are working through. The moment we dive it, would not be getting any results from both of these formula. I hope you understand this, guys. Thanks for watching this video.